How would you like to do this not only on Cybertruck, but on Model 3 or Model Y as well? Pretty cool, right? Well, now you can, thanks to TesStudio. Okay, so this is the full install video, so thanks for watching. If you are watching this, it means you've likely already purchased this kit, which I do recommend. Thanks to TesStudio, they did send me this for free, so I could not only review it, but of course, provide a detailed step-by-step guide to installation. It is a little bit tricky. I would say it's an intermediate installation, so if you've never done anything to your Tesla, this might be a little bit daunting. It takes a few hours, but trust me, you can do this. Just do the step by step. It's not difficult, just a little bit time consuming, and you might have to rewind the video just a couple times to see what's going on. So first of all, we start with removing the Frunk tub. That first piece is easy, and then there are quite a few bolts that are 10 millimeter that you'll have to undo in the next few minutes. Just know that I thought there were 6 of them. There were actually 7, as you see in the video. So count 7 as you are removing all the bolts for the tub. This video is about an hour long, and please know again, it took me 2 to 3 hours to do this. You'll see me kind of come in and out with the audio, but the visual is most important here. So I'll jump in when I let you know that there are very important steps here. But anyway, I'm still continuing to take the frunk apart here. This piece just really houses that emergency release. It's an easy unplug. One of the easiest pieces of the project is just to unplug this, set it aside. Of course, you'll need it when you reinstall the frunk tub. So here's my 10 millimeter socket. I thought there were 6 bolts, but there are actually 7. So just watch and make sure you see where they all are. That one is kind of tricky, only if you don't know where it is. Of course, it's easy to take apart. So look for 7 10 millimeter bolts to take off to remove the frunk tub. By the way, you'll notice a couple times during this video that I have to do a couple of extra steps, and that's only because I have an LED light ring around this frunk that was previously installed. I did that a few months ago, so you'll see me have to spend just a few minutes disconnecting that and then reconnecting it, regrounding it at the end. So again, if you don't have that, you're not going to have to worry about this step, but it did take me just a few minutes longer to figure out how to disconnect that and then again reconnect it later. And here's that darn 7th bolt. That one got me. I have to admit I had to take just a few minutes to figure that out. But anyway, removing this 7th one and you should be able to lift that whole frunk tub right out. Don't worry about this step unless you have that LED light ring. You probably don't, so just watch me struggle here for a minute. This was actually the first time I had this frunk tub removed, so I was just looking around. This is again a 2022 Model 3 Performance, and it's interesting because it's marked without radar because it doesn't have those little radar tabs in the front. But then I also found the super manifold, which I just left this in because I thought it was interesting. Here I'm just cleaning everything, wiping it down, getting ready to do some de-install. So for this piece, I actually found something that would hold my hood up in case I needed it. I ended up not needing this, but I saw another video that they recommended that. I don't recommend taking time to find some sort of wedge like this because I didn't need it. Okay, so the first piece after removing the frunk tub is to remove the struts. I just started on the right side here, the driver's side. No particular reason. Anyway, it's just a screwdriver and they easily pry off. It was super simple. A little bit scary the first time, but no big deal. So I did the top first, then the bottom, same thing, just a flathead screwdriver. Just kind of push it in this little tab and the strut pops right out. I would recommend not throwing these OEM struts away. You might need them later at some point. Maybe you trade in the car or sell the car and you don't want to get rid of this kit because you want to transfer it to your new Model 3 or something. So anyway, just 2 tabs on each side and get it done. 13 millimeter socket here instead of a 10 millimeter, but the next thing you're going to do is just take off that piece that holds the struts because the kit comes with new strut holders because of course they're slightly different. So still on the driver's side here, and then you'll see me hop around to the other side and do the same thing. I'll remove the strut and then remove the old strut holder. But before that, you'll see me put the new one on here. Very, very simple. You use the same bolts. Okay, exciting stuff. Here is the new strut holder. You've got to make sure the arrow is pointing up. That's how you know which side of the hood you put it on. So pretty simple, but anyway, it fits over the same bolts. You just reinstall them using the same 13 millimeter nuts. So they go right on. Pretty simple step, but just get it done. Oh, and you can see it in the video, but make sure that the, I guess the strut holder is pointing toward the middle of the car. See how it's pointing to the left here. So don't do it backwards. Make sure they're pointing in. So I'm just tightening those up there, and then I will find the TesStudio power struts and put it in starting at the bottom. By the way, the cord is the bottom, so that's at the bottom, right? So I'm going to just easily just clip it over this ball. It takes like 2 seconds. So line it up, and then you'll hear a click, click, and the bottom is done. And then I go around and I do the top. So that's how easy it is. This is such a simple step here. So repositioning the camera here. Okay, you got to pull the frunk down about 1 inch because the new struts are slightly, I guess, lower. No big deal. Works beautifully, but you'll just see me pull the hood down slightly, and then again just pop it in. It's kind of a satisfying click. Okay, side 2, same thing. Here are the OEM struts. By the way, I had to clean my garage after this because it was so tight over here. But anyway, I'm going to just unlatch that OEM strut. Same thing, flathead screwdriver. Just pop it in carefully. Pop it out, actually. And it just comes right off of that ball. And then you'll see me do the bottom as well. And I'm going to just duplicate exactly what I did on the driver's side here on the passenger side. So I stepped away for a minute to go get the power strut for the passenger side, right? And the wire goes down, right? That's how you know which way it goes. So before I do that though, I've got to go back and unscrew the old strut holder on the hood on this side and do the exact same thing as I did on the other side, which is replace it with the TesStudio version that holds the new struts. So same thing here, but opposite. The side that holds the strut faces in toward the car, right? So it's facing to the right on this one you see there. So hand tighten and then lock those 13 millimeter nuts back down. Easy peasy, just like on the driver's side. I'm going to find the cord side goes down, right? Because that just makes sense. The cords are on the bottom. So I'm going to just click that bottom piece on, click the top piece, and this is a satisfying step. I just love how it feels when it clicks on. And look, green check. You are all good. Time to move on to the next piece, which is removing the latch plug. This is just power, right? So you're just going to take the power and just lay it there. You'll plug it back in later. But it might take a second to figure out how to undo that clip, and then it's not powered. Okay, so at this point, I'm just showing a different camera angle. You're going to be working quite a bit on this latch here. That's the big next step, and it's one of the more complicated, but not really. This is a pretty simple step. Anyway, yeah, just showing a little bit different camera angle here, and then showing you the fact that we've got our 2 struts completed. They're looking really good. They fit perfectly, and yeah, let's move on. Okay, I learned this next trick from watching Shiva's video. If you haven't checked him out, he does a ton of Tesla content around accessories. So I'm doing exactly what he did. I'm taking some blue painter's tape, and all I'm doing is tracing exactly where the latch mechanism goes for the frunk, because it is adjustable. So you want to make sure that you know exactly the position with tape before you take it off, because you're going to put it back on here in a few minutes, and it's got to be in the same position. If it's too low or too high, your hood might not sit exactly perfect as it likely is now. So I'm just literally tracing both sides with blue painter's tape. Just use a stand for a while. You'll remove it here later, but you'll see why. So do this step. I really recommend that you do so. Thanks, Shiva, for the tip. So now it's time to remove the latch. Seems a little bit scary, but it's really only 2 10mm bolts. Once again, you've already marked exactly where it's going to go back on, so don't worry about it. Just take that same wrench and undo the bolts completely. And now you've broken your car. No, just kidding. This new piece is going to actually go between the latch and the frame or the housing of the car, right? So you're just really going to wedge it in there. This is slightly complicated, but again, really not really. You're just going to kind of position it first and see where it goes. There is this little pull cord that the motor runs to do the power frunk close and open. So that basically is going to be routed through the OEM pieces. You'll see that here in a second. So basically I'm going to line up this little pull cord to this little pulley. You can, if you see, and maybe pause the video here, you see where I attach it. It's not hard. And then I unlatch the spring, and then you'll see me latch the whole thing back together here. You might have to watch this section twice, so maybe rewind and watch it maybe once or twice more. So yeah, I'm going to release the spring carefully here. Not scary, it's okay. And then again, I'm going to combine these two pieces. I'm going to put the little latch on the pulley, and that will make sure the motor activates. It makes it a power frunk, actually. This is the magic that does that. This is hooked up to the mower. So that little piece with the black ends, I'm just, again, putting those two pieces together. This thing clips right where I show it on the video. Make sure that it has a clear path between the pulley section and this curve here. So just do it exactly like I did. And then I'm just going to reattach or rewind the spring back to the original holder. So that's it. You've got that pretty tough part back together. So this is where the magic of the blue tape comes in. I'm going to take this same piece. Now it's a little bit thicker, but that's okay. I'm going to mount it exactly where the blue tape told me to mount it. Here's the motor, by the way. You don't have to worry about, just set it somewhere. You don't have to worry about where it's going, because you're going to permanently mount that later. But basically I'm using the same screws, the 10 millimeters, and putting it right back where I started with, and then use the blue tape, make sure that it's aligned. I did this, and the hood aligned exactly when it was done. So again, Shiva, thanks for that tip. And congratulations, you've got another step done. Okay, let's keep going here. This is a pretty simple step, but basically you're going to tap the battery for the power for this unit, right? So the kit came with, I guess, a clasp or just a little piece that you can attach to a different kind of battery. But for mine, I've got the newer lithium battery. So this little thing, I just couldn't use it. So you just take a wire clipper if you have this same battery. Just look in the background, you see the battery contact there. I'm just going to slice it right off, and then I'm going to strip it. And then we're going to use the new stripped cable, the wire, to power this thing. So just watch for the next few seconds and see how I do it if you haven't done it before. Basic wire stripping, not a big deal. By the way, this whole kit is kind of like maybe when you were younger you put a new stereo in your car. This is very similar to the complicated, how complicated it is. Okay, so I've got the wire here. I twist it around, and then I'm going to put it on one of the terminal holes. You'll see that. And then I just wrap it with a little bit of electrical tape, and then so all you need to do here is just make sure it contacts enough to transfer the electricity, right? That's all you're doing. Okay, so I'm going to stick it I think one notch down, so in the middle, there I go. I put it through, and I'm going to wrap it with electrical tape, and then you'll see me, I just put that same red tab back on. And congratulations, you are now done with yet another step. So great job. Okay, let's continue here, just showing you what this looks like from a distance. The next piece is get this whole batch of wires out. This is going to connect into the command module, I guess I'll call it, or the board. And you're going to find the wire that says GRD or GND. And it's basically the ground, right? So you're going to, like you would ground any accessory, you just want to find a bolt on the body of the car because you need the positive going to the battery and then the ground wire going to a bolt. So I use this one here. You see 10 millimeter again. Most of this car is put together by 10 millimeters. I'm just going to loosen it slightly and put that ground wire right there. So don't let this whole mess of wires scare you. You're basically connecting the control board or the control module or the command module. This thing is the brains of the operation, and it's just making sure that everything is controlled at the right time. So clip it together. No big deal. You're going to mount this thing later with some double-sided tape, but in the meantime, that's all you do for this step. Now, you're going to be staring at a bunch of wires here, right? And basically the next piece is just to connect the latch motor. This is the motor that controls the latch mechanism. Remember you messed with the spring earlier? Well, this is the motor that really makes that latch go in and out. So I'm going to connect that real quick. And then I'm going to connect each side of the struts. Remember the two struts that you did at the beginning? And you just connect that again to the control board of the command module. Everything connects into that central little processing computer there. So I'm going to do the driver's side and then the passenger side here. So you've connected the control module, you've connected the motor, you've connected the struts, and then you've got a bunch of wires. And the best way to get over your anxiety with all these wires is just to go through and connect all of the remaining plugs together. There are, I believe, 8 of them, so just count. They're numbered. And you can't really mess that up because every plug is a little bit of a unique shape. So your goal here is just to connect all of the wires together. There should be no wires that don't have somewhere to go. It might take a few minutes just to look and kind of decipher them, but trust me, it all makes sense and it will work out. So this guy. So still connecting wires here. My father-in-law Ken stopped by for a cameo, checking my progress. Actually, you may have seen him in another video but we're just going through connecting all the wires. And then I connected the power wire. Remember the one that we tapped the battery for, and then we did the ground already, right? So you just connect that power wire. And again, take a look and make sure every single thing is connected and tightly connected. So at this point, I thought I was in a pretty good place. And we're just going around and just rechecking all the connections. I'm actually, you see me here, I'm counting 1 through 8 to make sure all of the wires were connected and that nothing was left. I wonder why they wouldn't have done that already.
So there's no loose ends now.
So this quick camera pan is just showing all of the wires that I connected. There was the power, there's the latch motor, of course there's the latch that you worked on, there's a control module, that's the ground wire, and these are all the struts that were connected. So I was super excited at this point. I get in the car and I hit the Frunk button and nothing. And I'm sure if you've done any accessory installs before, you might have come up to this. So usually what that means is I've got to recheck all of the connections, and it turns out that one was not connected properly. So guess what? After I did that, got back in, and it works like magic. It was so amazing to see that Frunk go up by itself, and then of course go back down, and has this satisfying kind of suction sound as the latch goes. So that was great. Before I do anything else, I just wanted to recheck the wires one more time. So here you see me through panning through everything. I did connect the emergency release button back because that was needed. That was the piece that I didn't do right the first time. So again, make sure everything is connected here and everything is tight. You've got to be comfortable because you don't want it not to work when you put the whole Frunk tub back together. So I'm just going through again, counting every wire, making sure every single thing is in place. Like I said at the beginning, a little bit complicated because lots of wires, but if you go step by step, it's really not that difficult. I would do it again to another car. I would do it much faster and confidently because it is a thing you can do. So there are a few more steps here, but basically I'm just starting to think about putting the tub back together. But you've got to figure out where you want to stick these two big pieces, the command module and the motor. And before we do that, I just wanted to put the tub on temporarily here. And again, I'm just making sure, making sure everything fits because you don't want anything damaging, the tub. When you put it back in, you don't want any wires damaged. So I just wanted to make sure everything fits. And I was really also trying to figure out where that control module goes and where the motor goes. So there's Graham. He always has to be with me when I'm in the garage working. He likes to hang out in the Cybertruck. But let's get back to this mess of wires here. So one more thing that you've got to do here, you've got to route this emergency disconnect wire. This is, in case your battery goes dead and your Frunk just won't open because there's no power. You gotta really, this is a really tight fit here, but basically take your tow hook cover off and then just work with your hands, and you're gonna eventually figure out how to put that little emergency latch into that tow hook hole. And you'll see me, I'm going to move the camera here, that I did get it. Took me a minute or two, but it sticks out the front. And if you don't know what this is, basically if your battery goes dead, it's a way to get into the car. There's a couple of precautions, so no one's going to steal your car by doing this, but basically it just fits in right to that same hole. So you see me doing that here. I finally found it, got it through the hole. It's hanging here, and then here's another camera angle. But basically, I'm just going to take some electrical tape and tape it to those two other wires that come with the vehicle. Again, this is just in an emergency, so you can get in the trunk, in the frunk, I mean. But anyway, I'm just going to attach those wires using electrical tape, and then you'll see me put that OEM tow hook cover right back on. And guess what? You are done with another step. If you've gotten this far, you are so close. So if you're frustrated at all, just keep going. You can do this just like I did, and we're almost done here. Just a couple more steps here. First of all, like I said before, you've got to find out or figure out for yourself where do you want to mount that motor. So you don't want it to get squished when you put the tub back in. And there's just, you can do it on the right side, the left side. I chose the right side only because that emergency disconnect wire is on that side. And I figured I would take a couple of zip ties and just zip tie it two different ways just to make sure it was secure. So you see me honestly struggling with this for a couple of minutes here, but it eventually, I figured it out, and it eventually got very tightly held in that space. So just watch me do this for a couple minutes, and hopefully you have a bit easier time. But again, I was just super concerned about not crimping any wires or that long latch wire, because this is the motor. It has to be kind of free. It can't be, you can't put a kink in that line. So this is how I did it. You can probably do it a different way. I did not use the double stick 3M tape. I just used 2 zip ties on this thing. Okay, so this was honestly embarrassing how long this took here, but hopefully you do it a little bit faster, learn from me. But it's a good place to mount it. And then on the other side, just mount that control board. This is easier because it's honestly not as heavy. There are no real moving parts like that line that can't be kinked on the other one. So I just wipe it off, and then I'm just gonna literally put a couple of pieces of double-sided tape, which come with the kit, by the way, and I'm gonna mount it vertically right there. And I love how it has room, and then when I put the tub back on, it does not affect it at all. So this was a really good place. So you see me just wipe it clean, put a couple of pieces of really strong double-sided tape, and I'm just going to mount it right to the side. Okay, I'm pushing it on as really with a lot of force just to make sure it doesn't come off. But it was really, I'm confident in this tape. It was really, really good tape. I'm just laying all the wires here as flat as possible as I'm starting to think about putting the tub back in. So I don't want anything kinked. I don't want anything, of course, impeding anything else in the vehicle. I'm laying it kind of all out. You could probably use some zip ties and make it a little bit cleaner, but honestly, I'm totally confident in how this install went. So I'm just laying everything out and just making sure, again, it's as flat as possible. Just peeling off the painter's tape here because, of course, it's already reattached. We don't need that guide anymore, and I take pride in my work. That's why I'm taking off the tape. But again, just taking a minute to lay everything flat because once you put that tub back on, you don't want to take it off again unless you put some sort of other new TesStudio accessory on your car. But anyway, just cleaning it up just a few more minutes here. Doing a quick test again just to make sure everything is super solid and super tight. And I might be a little obsessive, but I've learned over the years, I'm getting old, you've just got to keep rechecking your work so you don't lose more time later. So that was all that was. Now I'm going to go through and just start to think about putting this tub back on. But again, I've got this extra layer of complication, if you will, because I have these cool red LED lights in the frunk. So that's what's I'm just having to figure out how to attach that and power those LED lights again. So you just see me, struggle with that for a couple minutes. But you likely don't have that accessory. If you do, It all works, it's great, but I'm starting to reinstall the tub here. Put the air filter holder little clip thingy back on up at the upper right, and then we'll get the tub going here. Okay, here comes the big moment, putting the tub back in, but it took a few minutes, honestly. I think it was because of my LED lights. I just was really concerned about crimping or cutting off any wires. So you see it here. I'm figuring out how everything goes, and I thought at this point about just taking the LED lights and throwing them away, but they're so cool. I'm glad I didn't, because you see that they do still work. Just a few minutes of extra complication here. So here was my mistake here. I started to put the tub in and put the kind of the area by the struts toward the passenger section of the vehicle in first, and I kind of struggled with that. But then I realized, oh yeah, you got to put the front of the frunk in first. So you'll see me kind of mess with this for a minute or so. I just left this part in the video so you see that I'm not perfect here. I had to learn, and after struggling for a few minutes, I took the tub out and reinserted it, starting with the part closest to me, which you'll see. Anyway, here I am just messing with those LED wires again. You won't have to do that. I'm trying to actually figure out where to ground that LED kit. So that's what's taken me a minute here. So I'm going to take the camera here and let you know what I was struggling with. Again, these do not have anything to do with this TesStudio kit. This was how to power and how to ground the red LED lights that are in the perimeter of my frunk. So that's my struggle. Doesn't have anything to do with this kit. You'll see that I figured it out, and then I actually I kind of pulled it out and reinstalled the tub, starting again with the part closest to me, and then it fit over all of that extra stuff.
Where's the nearest fucking ground wire?
Had to remove that tub a little bit, and again, here I am, geniusly trying to figure out where to ground the LED lights. Don't worry about it. This was a me problem. I did eventually ground it in the right place. And again, the lights work. They work great, but I don't know if I was a little slow in the head at this moment or what, but it took me a minute to figure this out. And finally here, after Genius Boy figured out a simple ground, it worked, and here I am kind of lowering it from the front to back, which is much, much easier. Don't do it from back to front. This is the way to do it. It just took me 20 minutes to figure that out. But anyway, everything is all regrounded, reconnected. I'm getting super excited at this point because it's looking like an actual finished vehicle again, right? So I'm kind of putting everything, making sure it fits. It fits beautifully, even though all those wires and those parts are down below. Doesn't matter. It's a well-designed kit, and it's looking really, really, really good here. So you see me just kind of making sure that it's flat here, and then we proceed to reinstall those 7 bolts. Do you have an order number, customer? You can text me for anything very good. So I pulled the camera back here and tested everything once again before I installed all of those bolts, because I've learned in the past that you just got to keep testing throughout any project to make sure you don't lose time later. So yeah, you might be thinking, holy cow, when's this guy just going to be done here? But trust me, it's getting close. By the way, I'm not an engineer. I have nothing to do with the car industry, and I think that's good, because if it shows that someone like me with no training, no engineering skills can do this, you can do it as well. So here I am, just making sure that everything fits right, and then hey, we're getting closer to the end of this video here. So I think I'm grabbing a drink there, and then I start with the 7 10-millimeter bolts going back in. Yep, there I am with the wrench, and yeah, this will be good. So there's 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, 2 in the back, and then that one way in the back. Look at me, I've gotten this far. I'm putting that final piece on, and then, of course, just making sure everything fits well, which it does. Such a good look, and I love the fact that really you can't tell this kit is on at all. In fact, I think it looks better because those struts are a little bit thicker, and I think they look actually more quality. So here I am just checking to make sure that the wires to the struts aren't pinched by the tub housing at all. So I'm just being extra careful here. And yeah, so see, I'm looking at that, making sure I kind of readjusted that wire around so that shroud, the tub wouldn't you know, cut that wire or affect that wire. I was just concerned about the one side. The other side is fine, but I did just mess with this for a minute or so. And yeah, we're getting super close here. So the final step for me was to make it pretty. I'm pretty obsessive about the cleanliness of this vehicle, so just wanted to wipe away all the fingerprints, any dust or dirt, etc. And you can see those red glowing LED lights as well. So I was super proud that those work, and just everything was done and came together. Took me, again, I would say 2 to 3 hours. I had a little bit of a stop in the middle because I got busy with something else, but definitely it would be faster next time. Again, I'm not an engineer. I'm, I don't know, an average level of intelligence, and I figured this out. So if I can do it, you can do it by watching this video as well, and I'm super happy with the final results. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you like this, please subscribe to my channel. I've got lots of other stuff between Model 3s and our Cybertruck mostly. We do lots of accessories, and love to have you come along with us. Thanks for watching and appreciate it. By the way, at TesStudio, my promo code is SPOTTED. SPOTTED, Spotted. Thanks for watching, guys.